What's up, everybody? My name is Ron Amos, and welcome back to Less Pressure Podcast. On today's episode, I am very excited for this guest. We are joined with content creator, men's lifestyle vlogger, social media influencer with over 1.1 million likes on TikTok, Eli Upchurch. How are you?
Appreciate you, man. I'm doing good,
No
man.
problem.
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for gassing me up like that.
No problem. I had to gas you. You know, I'm very excited to have you on here.
Yeah, I feel you.
Because as you know, like I'm a follower of yours, and I like watch all the stuff that you post.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool to like finally be able to sit down and talk to you for a little bit.
This is actually the first time we've met.
Yeah.
We've never spoken before this.
Yeah, you live in Texas, right?
Yeah, I live in Houston.
All right, bet. Yeah, I got family out there, but I haven't been yet. But I'm up here in Chicago. But I actually found you on TikTok. Yeah, I found you on TikTok, and I think from there, because my For You page has like a lot of like men's lifestyle type videos or whatever, and then from your TikTok, I went to your Instagram. Mm-hmm. You had so much more like content on there too, so I followed you on Instagram, and then I think you followed me back after that.
Yeah, my Instagram is like the artistic stuff, with the TikTok is a little bit more just kind of like daily, almost like a story. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I think of TikTok. A lot of lip sync videos, things like that.
Yeah. So I just want to like start off with like, how did you get into social media, or like what was the reason why you were like, all right, I'm gonna start taking content a little bit more seriously? Because I feel like a lot of people post content on social media, but yours seems a little bit more, I don't want to say personal, but it seems more like intentional, if that makes sense.
Oh, first off, thanks for noticing that. I've always been artistic, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been into music. I was a dancer in college. You know that. I think we actually bonded over that when we first started following each other.
Yeah.
Always been into movies, TV shows. So I kind of like subconsciously, I guess, I've been picking up on all those tics and techniques and an eye for art throughout my entire life. But I never really thought about content creation until last August when so I'd gone through a bad breakup, and I was trying to find myself and figure out who I was. And you know, when stuff like that happens, so you say, let me post this TikTok on a lot of things. No. So it was a few months after we had broken up. Man, I'm gonna go viral real quick. That'll show him. No. So what I did was I was like, I had seen this video by a dude named Ron Doug. I don't know if you follow Ron Doug.
Yeah, I follow Ron Doug.
If not, you should. You should?
Yeah, I follow him. Yeah.
I saw a video by him, and that was the first time where I was like, man, like you could actually make videos that are wavy, like more than just like hey, what's up, guys? You know, welcome to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like and stuff. Like he was doing it in a different way, where there was some sauce to it and some creativity and personality. Yeah. And you know, like I'm not dancing anymore. I've never been musically inclined. So I was like, that might be a good way to really express myself. And so I started making videos, and at first it was just like lip syncing videos. And you know, I remember I had my first video that was like, it had like 800 likes or something like that. And I had gotten I had some good lighting on it, and I figured out there was good lighting. So anyways, over the course of, you know, a year or so, I started figuring out techniques and ways to make the videos better. But yeah, I kind of started as a way to like find myself and figure out how to express creatively, I guess.
Yeah. And so, because I feel like there's a lot of different ways that you can go with like making content. So what drew you more towards like the lifestyle, like vlog style videos that you post?
So I'm a big follower of Gary Vee. So my background is in finance and investment. And so I was always big into business. Yeah. I've always been big into business. Gary Vee is one of my favorite guys. And for years, I've been following him for 10 years now. And for years, he's been talking about the power of branding and the power of social media and things like that. And so I would just kind of listen to him here and there just to get the information. And something that he always talked about was that it's more about creating a community, and it's more about letting people know you. That's how you build a brand. Even if it is more slowly, it's more about letting people know who you are and how you see the world. And so I knew from the very beginning that if I was going to do this, I was going to try to make it as much about me as I could. So it was less about the views, less about the numbers, and more about, hey, here's a peek into my life. Here's the music that I like. Here's what I think looks cool. Here are my friends. Here's what I'm doing today. Because that would really build the community, and that's what would keep people here after the viral video, right? Because the viral videos are few and far between, but if they stay, they're gonna stay for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's really cool. And another cool thing that I noticed that you do that I actually start trying to like implement on my social media a little bit is like you post stories, but you kind of edit them a little bit and you make them more like aesthetically pleasing to watch. And so it's more interactive, I feel like, than just posting a regular story like, oh, I'm here right now, whatever. It's like a fun, cool twist on like posting a story on your Instagram.
Yeah. So my my path to that was, at first I was like, post aesthetic pictures, right? So how good of a photographer can I be? And then I realized one day I did it by accident. I just opened up my video and recorded like a 5-second. I set my phone up, recorded a 5-second video of people walking in a coffee shop, but the audio was bad, and so I was like, let me just turn the audio off. And then I got a lot of like good feedback on it. They were like, yo, that's kind of a vibe, And so then I started posting those, and then I was like, I could actually repurpose these into something else where I can't do that with my picture. So then I started prioritizing video, where I would just make like, instead of 4 or 5 different stories, I would just combine them into one. And then recently I've started doing it with talking as well. So it's kind of like, instead of having to click through my story, I'm basically clicking for you, right? So every time, every second or so, I'm having a cut. So I'm
really
clicking for you, so that allows you to stay on that story a little bit longer. Yeah.
And then I saw you had like the little mic situation. Like, is that something you were like, all right, I'm gonna get a mic and I'm gonna just start filming, or was it more like, you just found one, you had one laying around? Like, how did you end up with the whole like mic situation?
No, man. So look, like, I think something I learned early on was like camera work. Like, okay, do you need a camera or do you need a mic? Camera work, the good news is you can fake a good camera, like with your lighting, with your shots, composition. What you can't fake is good audio. You can't fake it.
Facts.
And so I knew pretty early on that I was gonna have to get a mic, because that's something I wasn't gonna be able to fake. And I don't know if you were following me back then, but I made a whole thing out of it. Like, I was like, hey, I got this mic. We're going to name it, right? Like, everybody submit your name, like what you think. That was like way back, probably like, September of last year. People loved it, bro. Cause it's building the community, right? And so I was like, y'all are going to name the mic. And so everybody submitted these names. I picked the top 3. Everybody voted on it. Probably the most engagement I've ever gotten on like a section of like my social media posts. And we ended up naming it Mike Tyson. My brother actually submitted it, Mike Tyson. And it's hard, right?
That's kind of crazy. And then another thing.
So it was fun though.
Yeah, and so you say you like go out in public with the microphone and everything. So do you get a little nervous when you're out in public, like making content, or like does that like play a role in the things that you do? Because for me personally, if I'm outside in my neighborhood or whatever, like I'm not picking up my phone to do anything. When I'm with friends and stuff like that, yeah, it's cool. Like it's less pressure with it. But then like I'm by myself, I can't record myself because I feel like people are watching me. So does that play a part in like you filming content like outside?
It definitely does. I get real nervous, but so I mostly like, I'm with my friends a lot. So the good news is when I'm with my friends, I feel very confident. I'm not too worried about it, like you said. But if I'm going out by myself, it's usually because I'm having like a me day. You know those days where you just wake up and you just kind of feeling yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I go out, I get my tripod, I go get some coffee, and I just find a cool spot, set up the tripod, and just go, just start talking. And people are walking by. I'm curious to know what you think about this, by the way, but something I keep in my head is that I truly believe that in 10, 15, 20 years, most people are going to be creating content because it's just a much better way to communicate versus, texting somebody directly or calling. When you create content, you can communicate at scale. And so I think in 10 years, it's not going to be weird to see everybody out in the streets with a tripod and a phone because it's going to be normal, right? And so I try to think in my head, I'm probably just early. And first off, nobody actually cares. And if they do care, they just don't get it yet, and they will eventually, and that's cool. But I'm proud of myself for being in a place where I can go outside and do that. and speak to a microphone out in public.
Yo, that is actually absolutely like wild to me. Like, because for me,
yeah, do you agree with that, by the way?
Yeah, I think that definitely everyone's going to be doing the content thing. Because if you look at the kids that are coming up now, my nephew, he's like 9 or 10 years old, and he's like, I want to be a streamer, I want to be a YouTuber, right. I want to be that. You know, that's like where their minds are going, because it's more so like an entrepreneurial like route, and there's a lot more control, and there's a lot of money in it too if you do it the right way. But with the
for sure,
you got to be kind of confident to do it. You know what I'm saying? For myself, I grew up doing YouTube a lot. So from the time that I was maybe sophomore year up until I was about 20, I think I turned 20. And that's when I stopped making YouTube videos. It was pretty much just my outlet. And I never was able to film outside of my house. Because it was just a little uncomfortable situation. You know, I always had a tripod, I always had the lights and everything, and I would film videos with other people. But when it came to being outside and like vlogging, like with just my camera outside, I couldn't do it. I couldn't even like really sometimes film just videos when I'm talking to the camera around other people, because it made me feel a little uncomfortable. So that confidence that you have is really interesting.
What's crazy though is that's the best. Those are the best shots. Like that's the thing. Like it's so hard to get over that hump, but if you can, those are the best. That's the best content, is when you actually get out of your normal place. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
man.
Yeah, and I'll be trying to do like the little vlog, like TikToks videos and stuff, but like still, I've yet to make it outside of my apartment. Like I can't pull it out. I went to Denver like 2 months ago, and I made a little vlog, and I pretty much just filmed me inside of the Airbnb. And then I took some of my Snapchat videos and threw them on there too, to make it look more like I was doing stuff. But yeah, for the most part, like I'm just super.
Is it because you think that people are gonna think you're like lame or weird? Because I would actually say that, you know, it's really cool. When I see people out recording, I usually think that they're really cool for doing that. So what's the fear? I'm curious to know from your perspective.
It's more of a fear of being like perceived by other people, you know, and when you're perceived, like, you know how when you post things on the internet, you kind of can control the way that you look or the way that, you know, you come off to an extent. But when it comes to something like that, it's almost like people have an opportunity to make a judgment about you. It could be a good judgment or it could be a bad judgment, but you can't really control the way that you're being perceived in that way. Especially if you're alone, you're way more vulnerable in that, you know, moment. If I'm with my friends, at least I got them to lean on for support and not care so much. But when it's just me, I'm a little sensitive about myself. You know, I wanna protect myself a little bit more.
For sure, bro.
I don't really like being I don't like giving other people the opportunity to have an opinion about me, if that makes sense.
Right. I totally get that, bro. Yeah, man, it's not easy, man. It's not easy. Like I'll be outside, I'll be recording. And again, like sometimes I just think I'm cool. Other times I'm like, you know, damn. But I'll say this, a good tip is to go to places where people aren't. So like, I love parking garages. Like parking garages are always nice because you can go maybe to the top 2 or 3 floors. You get really good lighting. It's a different vibe. It's a different setup. There's a lot of good lines too. So you can make really good like composition and good shots. And there's not really people out there. And if so, they're just trying to get to their car. They're not like walking past you or anything. So I like parking garages a lot.
Facts. Have you ever seen those TikToks where people will be like dancing and making TikToks, and then someone's recording them making their TikTok?
You mean like, like in the background?
Yeah, like they'll be outside and then they'll be like in the window or something, like recording people making TikToks. And I refuse to be in one of those videos. I don't want to be that guy in that video. I don't want to be the guy that's like, yo, what is this guy outside doing? Like the world is crazy right now.
Nah, bro. So this comes back to also, by the way, this comes back to a fundamental belief in that, like, I am not a hater. I've never been a hater. I've always been a supporter. I've always been a positive person. I've always been a not judge. If people hate, like if people feel the need to post somebody on social and make fun of them or something like that, to me, they're in a bad place. Like they haven't figured out yet that is not a good mental space to be in. And you're never really going to get much being in that mental space. I don't post anything negative. I don't even post bad reviews of video games on my social. Like, I don't post anything negative. So those people, like, I have love for them. They just haven't realized yet that that's really not a good headspace to be in. And so I have empathy for them. If they're going to hate, they can hate, they'll grow out of that eventually. But for now, I'm going to do my thing type, you know what I'm saying? So.
Facts. And then another, like, it kind of goes into a little bit with the whole like mental aspect of it. So like, do you get a little uncomfortable with posting on social media sometimes, or do you feel like the first couple uploads that you've made on Instagram? Because I feel like Instagram is one of those places where it's a little bit more judgmental than a TikTok or like a Twitter or something like that. Instagram kind of has this, this like this unknown, unspoken like rule of don't be lame or don't post something that's not quality. So do you ever feel pressure when you're uploading stuff, or did you ever feel like afraid to upload your first like lifestyle-ish video to Instagram?
First off, I'll say it's that way. I feel like because Instagram is filled with mostly people who don't really post on social. Like, they may post like a family picture, so they haven't grasped that like social is just a documentation communication tool, and it's not like you're not trying to create the best video possible on every video. So they haven't grasped that yet. So I understand why they do that. Where TikTok's more like, we all understand that. I'm just going to throw the camera up and start recording. But yeah, my first video. So yeah, at first I was like really nervous. It was just kind of I had an understanding, just like with everything in my life, like with basketball and with dancing and with finance, everything that I've ever gotten good at, I was bad at first, And so you understand that, I know that right now when I'm first starting out at something, it's just about reps, it's just about reps. And give me a year, like I'm at a year now. Give me a year and people will be like, damn, Eli's content's kind of wavy. Like, Eli's kind of, because I got reps, the whole time you guys, and I'm not trying to make it a competition, but the whole time, like, those people were sitting there judging my early stuff, I was getting in reps. And so a few months later, I'm a little bit better, and then I'm a little bit better. And then you look at a year later, now I'm like way beyond because I've gotten all the reps in. So I knew that early on. It was like, hey, I'm just going to take it to the chin. My real people are going to love the love that I'm actually trying, and the people who I don't know are just going to click next. They don't care. They got their own lives going on. They're just going to click next, So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I get that part a lot too, because with me being a dancer, I actually grew up very, very shy. So I was a super quiet kid.
Really?
I didn't really speak much. I didn't have an outgoing personality at all. I was very like the opposite of the things that I do today. And I'd always wanted to dance, but I was afraid of being bad, and I was afraid of being like made fun of for trying to dance. I know I had to learn. I had to go through that period of like not being that great until I got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm decent or whatever, And so I think I posted my first dance video on Instagram when I was 21. And I had been dancing for 2 years at that point. So I started training when I was 19, and then I posted my first video on Instagram at 21. And the response that I got back from everybody was, "You dance? When did you start dancing?" That was so random. It made everybody so confused. But I was so afraid to post it in general, just because I was like, yo, one, they don't know me as this person. I was afraid to become a different person in front of everybody, and I was afraid that like
for sure
they're gonna judge me for being a dancer, and so when I posted that first video, that was the hardest video for me to ever post, just because it was something different than what I've ever done before. So then once I posted that, the response was at first, what do you like, you dance? And then from there it became, oh shit, like I rock with that. And as I got more things under my belt and I did more, I accomplished more things with it, it became the norm now. But now my problem is I still have the same situation. It's like, now I'm known as the dancer guy. So if I'm not posting dance content, am I allowed to post anything else and it still be received the same way? That's my problem. So what would you say for me,
bro? You could.
What should I do with that?
Yeah, man. Like, I have so many people say the same, like something similar, bro. People follow you for you, like, right? Like they might come to you because they saw a dance video that they liked, but they stay for you. Like they want to see you. I have a friend right now. She's writing a book. and she's talking about how she wants to start talking about books. And I'm like, yeah, you can talk about books, but also show your friends and show the coffee shop you went to this morning and show that, because that's what people care about. You know, people care because there's so many dancers, bro. Like there's so many dancers, but there's only one Ron, you know? And
Facts.
the Ron is made up not just of his dancing, but it's made up of his style. Like you have great style. You wear like this bandana you're wearing is fly, bro. It's made up of your personality. It's made up of your interests, your friends, the things you hang out with. That's what draws people closer and closer, tighter and tighter into your circle. And that's where you build the community, right? Responding to comments, responding to DMs, like building the community. That's what's important. Go ahead.
That's crazy. You just dropped a bar. That was a bar. I needed that one.
Yeah.
In real life, I needed that one. Because it's weird. Like, I think that I come off as just super, and I feel like I am a confident person. I feel like it takes confidence to dance in front of thousands of people all the time. It takes confidence to,
for sure,
just to do like certain specific things. But I think mine is like, it goes back to the perception of allowing people to think certain ways about me, you know. And I'm very confident with myself. I'm not an insecure person at all, but I just don't want to give myself over to other people and allow them to have their say. But at the same time, is that confidence? Does that make you confident, or does that still show a sign of insecurity at all, you know?
Yeah, it means that you're probably overvaluing people's opinions. And by the way, good and bad, right? Like I think most people's problem is they overvalue the good. Like somebody says, your dance video was fly. You take that, not you. I'm just saying people take that and they just think that they're the best thing in the world because they got compliments. And that's dangerous, because as soon as you get a negative comment, now you're going to take that and run with it. There's a balance, right? You got to know that you're unique and you're an individual and you're fly as hell. And also you really don't matter. Like it really doesn't mean anything. Like you're just having fun. There's a balance. You know what I'm saying? So like, you matter to yourself, but you're also not the most important person in the world. And so you don't have to, like, you can kind of stay in your own lane and just post because you want to, not because you're looking for good or bad feedback. You know what I mean?
You're fucking spitting bars.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just crazy. Now, another question that I have for you is, when you're a content creator and it becomes like a big part of your life, it kind of seeps into the personal aspect a little bit. So let's say you're out with friends, y'all hanging out or whatever, and you know everybody's having a good time. How do you manage to kind of not make people uncomfortable with filming while like being in the moment and stuff like that?
Because I'm not creating content. Like that's not how I see. So most of my content, I don't see as creating content. Most of my content I see as documenting the moment, right? And so like, you ever were a kid and like you would give anything for one of your friends to have one of those little video cameras to be recording what y'all are doing? You know what I'm saying? That people like that, right? As soon as it comes across of like, hey, let me get this clip. Hey, let me get this. You want to do this interview for me? When it comes across that way, that's when people start getting a little like uncomfortable. But for me, I don't force that. I just try to document the moment. And my friends have been really, really reciprocal of it, man. Like, you know, we went to an Astros game and I was never in anybody's face. I was just documenting moments that I saw. I'd pull out my camera and record, but I was never like, hey, do this for me or do this for me, you know? And so once they kind of see it as like, you're just the guy who's capturing the moment and not the guy who's trying to create content, they're a lot more receptive of it, you know? And there's an art to that. There's an art to making sure you're not coming across the wrong way.
You're not David Dobrik making your friends do tricks and funny stuff. You just let them do what they're doing.
Right. And no hate on David, by the way. No hate on David, but you know what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different flow to just like allow the moment to be the moment instead of trying to create moments and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you get to a point where like after doing it for so long, I've stopped going into events with the mindset of I have to get these specific things. You know, it's more like you're dancing, you know, it's more like I'm going to go into this moment. I do have the energy and the intent to create content or to document, I should say, but I don't have these specific things that I want to document. I'm going to have my phone open at all times and I'm going to feel what feels right, feel what feels good. and you just get good at noticing a moment or noticing when a moment's about to happen and whipping out the phone and capturing it. You know, you're just kind of dancing. And that's the art.
Yeah, so you're allowing yourself to be a part of the flow and not interrupting it.
Right. I'm in the moment. Like, I'm not separate from the moment. I'm also experiencing those things. And the way you can tell, Ron, is whenever you get that feeling of like, damn, like this, like, I feel really happy right now. Right. Or man, like, look at all my friends. Look, they're just having a good time.
Yeah.
Or like, man, I feel really sad right now. I feel really sad, man. I don't know what's going on with me. Whenever you get the emotions, figure out how to capture the emotion. How can I capture this emotion so that future Eli can remember this? And that's when you'll get your best content.
Capture the emotions. That's a good one. And I feel like just
for sure, bro.
With everybody like that I know being like artists and stuff, I think that's so important because I feel like it's very easy to like capture just the stale moment, but capturing the emotion of the moment and the energy and the feeling of it is a completely different thing. It takes a very like particular person to know how to do that. Yeah. It's just like, just understanding that like, this is a moment and let me like hone in on it a little bit.
Yeah, you notice yourself feeling something unique. Look around and be like, what's making me feel unique right now? Maybe it's the music you're listening to. Okay, let me screenshot that because I'm going to put that song over whatever video I make because this is the song that's making that moment. Or maybe it's just like the way the sun's hitting that specific flower over there. I don't know. How can I capture it type thing, you know?
Right. And I feel like you kind of...
The nice thing about that too is... I just want to say the nice thing about that too is this has been my favorite part of the journey is you start learning so much about yourself. Like you get so introspective about your feelings and what makes you feel certain ways and what makes you tick because you're trying to figure out why am I feeling this way? How can I capture it? That's been the best part.
It sounds like you're doing social media in like a super healthy way. And I know that that's a very abnormal thing for a lot of people. Myself included, I have a lot of friends that like do social media and it's just a lot of pressure, like in general. And it's very hard to keep your mental health in check while also presenting yourself to the world all the time. Because people think that they always got to post like the good moments or like the happy stuff or they got to make themselves seem polished all the time. So how do you keep your mental health in check when being online presence?
I think the first thing is from the jump, understanding that it may happen quickly, it may happen slowly. Like you have no control over how fast you're going to gain a community, how fast you're going to, I mean, like sometimes it feels like I've had a 2.5 million view video. I've had multiple viral videos. Sometimes it feels like I'm on top of the world, but like, I don't have a huge following. I don't have brand deals. I don't have this, but I've been growing consistently and getting better at my craft. So from the jump, understanding that this is a long-term play and it's something you're probably going to do for the rest of your life. And that it's documenting your life over trying to create a business around it. So when you go from it from that perspective, from the jump, I think you're in a good place. But then second, it's like, I think just with anything in your life, like don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like you don't like, discipline is good for sure. But if you go through a few weeks where you just haven't been feeling posting, like stop posting, take a break, and if you come back, great. And if you don't, great, like you need to be having fun and playing in the sandbox of life and not trying to accomplish things, right? Like accomplishing is like a good goal, but the fun is the goal, the journey to the accomplishment. So play, like I think of it as playing and don't think about it as like, I have to be the best content creator and I have to post 2 times a day and I have to do this and I have to do that. Because you're going to run yourself ragged if you do that. And people are going to be able to tell. Like your content, one of my, and I know I'm on a TED Talk right now. I'll let you speak in a second. But one of my favorite things about my content and something that I think, the reason I think people resonate with it is because it's so authentic. Like there's so much emotion in everything that I post because I'm actually enjoying the content. I actually like to set up the line, right? This line that's going through my head. I like to set up my camera so the line's coming in. I have my window right here so the lighting's hitting me right. I like the picking out the songs that I put in there. And I like, getting all the shots and color correcting the shots. I like doing that stuff because it allows me to express the emotion that the video is supposed to express better. And that's the most important thing to me is how can I express myself? And so I get obsessive over it in a healthy way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I know I went on a tangent there, but you know, some important
go
stuff,
crazy.
I think.
That's dope. No, I relate to you in the same way. I have a similar eye for content, or when I'm making stuff, it has to be, I want to see it a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, even when I ask someone, hey, take a picture of me, and they take the picture, and like, it's like either they go too high with it, and I'm like, you giving me a lot of work right now. Like, now I gotta crop it. Yeah, I gotta crop it, re-angle it, change this. I'm like, yo, just do it how I see it. If I could make my own, like, if I could take my own pictures, I would, because it's just my eye is like that, you know. But so,
hey, tell me this. When you're not behind the camera, it's tough, isn't it? Like when you're having somebody else take pictures and videos for you, tough.
Bro, it's a rough lifestyle. I was at a family party like last week, and I told my brother, I'm like, yo, flick me up real quick. The kid, he takes the camera and starts walking around me in a circle. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just taking a whole bunch of shots. I'm like, no. Don't do that. Just take. He's like, no, you're gonna have so much to pick from.
I want that. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, stand right there. Let me just stand, like, and just take the picture. Mm-hmm. Don't even do anything. Just hold it like this. He still got it wrong. You know, he still did what he wanted to do. But I took the picture, cropped it a little bit, re-angled it, edited, you know, changed the lighting settings and stuff like that. But it's a rough life.
You got to go in there. You got to cook a little harder.
He could make my life a little easier if he just listened. But, you know, you can't.
You're like, damn.
Yourself.
You get in there, put the apron on, put the chef's hat on. You're like, damn, I gotta get in here and cook for this picture. This is gonna be tough.
The fit was fire. The fit was fitting, and so I'm like, yo, just do me one favor. And I even took an example photo for him. I'm like, yo, stand right there. I'm gonna take a picture, make it look just like this. He walked in a circle.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, bro. I mean, it's like, first off, it really makes you realize that you're special. Like, you just have an eye, and people don't naturally have that eye. So you're like, okay, at the very least, I know that I have a talent, you know? Thanks for reaffirming that, you know what I'm saying? But something I've told my friends, though, that has helped a lot with, like, my photo, like, taking pictures of me, is that what's more important is what's around me. Like, I'm not the important subject.
Yes.
Like, set up the environment around me. That's more important than actually getting me. You know, everybody's trying to focus on you. I'm like, no, I'm not important, bro. It's the environment.
That's interesting, because I would hate to be in a picture and look busted, but everything around me is fire. My worst nightmare. So tell me more about it. What do you mean by that?
That's not going to happen.
I don't know.
So you heard, have you seen that Virgil TikTok that went viral? Because it was so profound. Virgil, I don't forget his last name, the off-white dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, what happened to Virgil, the fashion designer? He said this thing where he was like, he had this tin can. And he was like, if I take this tin can and I put it like in a garage next to some tools or something, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. Sorry, I got a call. If I take this tin can, I put it in a garage somewhere, and I put it around a bunch of tools or something, it's just going to look like a tin can in the corner of a garage. But if I take that tin can, right, and I put it on a white pedestal in an all-white room, right, with special splatter on the wall, all of a sudden it looks like a piece of art. You know what I'm saying? So what's more important, he was like, I would rather design the space around the subject instead of designing the subject itself, because that's going to do way more work. Now, it's still a tin can. Like, what you're saying is you don't want to look busted, and I totally get that. But if you feel like you don't look good that day, but you got a cool environment, bro, do one of these. Do one of these, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Do one of these. You know what I'm saying? But the environment's fly. You can get the fit off. That's why most of my photos, my profile picture, I don't even have my face in my profile picture, because I wasn't feeling myself that day.
You don't have your face in your profile picture. I noticed that you don't.
Nah, bro. And it's not for any reason. That's just my favorite photo, and I just happened to be doing one of these because I wasn't feeling myself that day. But for some reason, the environment was hitting, the fit was off, and so like you can get a lot more out of that if you just focus on the environment. So like I told my friends, like, make sure the environment fits well, and then wherever I fit within the environment, I'll make it work, you know. And I'll do some pictures of me not looking. That way, you don't have to worry about how I look.
You are different.
And you ever had a picture too, by the way? You ever had a picture where you're like, dang, that pic looks good, but look at my face, I look like an idiot, or I'm blinking? and you get so mad.
I had a bunch of those. I have a bunch of those.
Yeah, bro. So I don't want to waste it. So I will smile and show my face in a lot of pictures, but every time I'm at like getting a shoot off, I always do some cover my face just in case.
Interesting. All right. So
Yeah,
I kind of want to switch the focus a little bit. Now, you were a dancer at one point. So can you walk me through how you became a dancer, how you kind of like ended up in that space, and then why did you kind of step away from it a little bit?
I'm glad we I'm glad we can talk about. I can talk about dance in a minute, bro. Okay. So it starts with I come home. I'm like 7 years old. I come home from Whataburger. My mom turns on MTV, and Run It by Chris Brown comes on. I was like, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? You seen the video?
Yeah.
He said
Mine was Omarion.
I was like, damn. Omarion? Which one? Was it Touch? Because he eats in Touch.
Yeah, it was Touch.
Was it Touch? Bro,
yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. So I saw Chris Brown. I got this obsession. And I was like, I can't sing. I can't play guitar. So how am I going to get girls? I'm going to dance. And so, so I kind of like started learning how to dance a little bit. What's it like? You know how it is, bro. You're like 12 years old, right? You got to figure something out. And I'm short too. So it's like, you got to do something. And so I start dancing a little bit. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm 6'2". So I don't have that problem. It's different.
And it's tough out here, bro. You gotta. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life. And the amount of icks that girls have these days, bro. You ever see me try to get something off the top shelf of a grocery store, bro? I'm fighting for my life out here, bro. You
standing on tippy toes. You reach for it.
And sometimes I talk to girls that are like 5'9". I'm like, hey, you trying to get that for me? So
how tall are you,
bro? 5'7".
5'7".
5'7".
I mean, yeah, it's average. It's kind of average-ish. Yeah, but like back to the dance. So all right, so you see Chris Brown. He's doing Run It. You're like, all right, this is my way in with the girls. This is what I gotta do if I want a girlfriend. Is that what that went through your head?
Yeah, so I'm gliding, right? I'm learning how to moonwalk. I'm learning how to dance. I'm learning how to wave. And what happened was I saw a Brian Puspos video. You know Brian Puspos?
Yeah, I know Brian.
I saw a Brian Puspos video of him doing choreography to Wet the Bed. And I was like,
that's a famous one.
That's like another level. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's another level. So then I get sucked into this whole like America's Best Dance Crew, Chachi Gonzalez, Ian Eastwood. Like I get sucked into this whole world of dancing. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, yo, like I wanna go to a studio. And I was in high school. And she was like, I mean, the closest city is Dallas, and that's like an hour away. I don't think we're gonna be able to get you into a studio. So I'm like dancing in my closet, bro. And I'm playing sports, so that was like my whole life. So dancing in my closet, nobody even knew I was a dancer, kind of like you. And I go to college, and I'm at Fish Camp, which is like our little summer camp for freshmen. And one of the counselors is like, hey, I'm gonna take you like I was like jigging or something in a dance circle, and they're like, yo, I'm gonna take you to this dance team's tryouts, and I want you to go see if you like it. And so I went. Listen to this, you're gonna laugh. There was a girl on the dance team that I was like, I want to try to pull her. So I tried out for the dance team just to try to get this girl, right? And turns out I fall in love with dancing, and I'm actually good at it. And so I'm on it for, I think a semester, maybe 2 semesters, I can't remember. And after 2 semesters or so, I try out to be the director actually. And I become the director of the team. So after 2 semesters, yeah, bro. So I become the director where I'm now choreographing the whole show. I'm leading all the practices and everything like that. It's one of the first things where I just kind of had natural talent. I don't want to toot my own horn. I just want to be realistic. It was one of the first things where I just kind of realized I just have natural talent, and I got good at it. And that I learned a lot from that experience. But I was the director of that team for, maybe 4 years. I directed another team as well. That was more of a competition team. Did that for 2 years. And when it came time to graduate school, I was like, okay, am I going to go to LA and actually pursue this? What am I going to do? But I had a girlfriend at the time who I thought I was going to marry, and I've been dating her for a few years. And I was like, I can't put her through going to LA and living on like ramen noodles and not making any money while I try to pursue my dance career that I may not like in a few years, you know? And so I decided like, hey, I had my dream. I wanted to dance on a team, and I did that. I actually directed a team. I had my dream, so it's time to move on to the next thing, you know?
So would you consider stepping back into that space more casually? Because I feel like I always tell people, like, because a lot of us, I'm 27, a lot of my friends are, within that range of like 25,
I'm
27. Yeah, we're all in that age range where like life is starting to happen right now. So some of us want to step away from dance, and some of us want to like not make it a career. But what I always tell people is, even if you don't decide you want to go to LA or you want to make this a career, you're always going to be a dancer. So if, you got into a space in your life where you had more time to like just step into a class here and there, would you be cool with doing that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I live in Houston, so Real's here. So I have friends who go to So Real often. They went more last fall when I was still in Charlotte. So if they called me tomorrow and said, "Hey, you want to go to a So Real class?" I would definitely go. I like you said, I'll always be a dancer. At heart, I kind of like I think just for now, like in my space in my life now, I just try not to like I try not to structure or pigeonhole myself into like I'm a dancer. You know what I'm saying? I try to just be like, I'm artistic, and if I feel like dancing, I might make a video of me dancing, or I might just not make a video and just dance around my house. I freestyle all the time around my house, bro. Um, I don't take class as much anymore, and I'm not on a team, mostly for time commitments, but I'll always be a dancer.
No, facts, facts, facts. That's all completely valid. I mean, yeah, I had to go through kind of the same situation. I go through that same talk with myself every couple of months, honestly.
Mm.
Right now, I'm on an NBA team, so my actual focus is not on dance right now. It's on my
Mm.
other creative avenues since the basketball season is coming back and everything, and I'll be busy with that. I'm just using that as my outlet for dance. So I'm
Yeah.
not really focused on doing any showcases, any training outside of that. I'm just kind of letting that fulfill me in the dance realm. And then outside of that, I want to focus on like different creative avenues while I have something,
Yeah.
within dance to occupy me. Now, will I be a dancer forever, or will I make this my full on career? I don't know. Last year in February, I was working at an engineering company, and I was in the finance department. And like I was sitting there at my desk, and I was like, "This sucks." Like I was downtown Chicago on like the 29th floor, and it just felt like not me. It just felt really like I was a robot a little bit. And so I was like, "Yo, I really love dance. This is like my life or whatever." And I kind of decided to just quit on the spot and was just like, I'm gonna try to see if I can make this thing work. And then from there, I kind of just did like freelance stuff. I just, started teaching a lot more, just taking on any kind of gigs I could, just doing anything dance that I could to make money. And then I hopped on the NBA team while I auditioned and got on. And then this January, I got into like this crazy like car accident where like I couldn't walk and shit for like 3 months. Yeah. So I was driving on the highway. I got out of my car, and then from there, I was on the side of the road on the highway, and like an SUV ran me over. And so from there, like I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. And so my whole focus at that point was, let me get back. How do I get back to dance? Like, how do I get back to dance as soon as possible? Because I had all these big opportunities coming towards me. I had all these like big gigs coming up, and they all got snatched away from me. And so it kind of made me fall in love with dance, or reappreciate, what I had before. And then over the summer, I like went super hard. Like I did physical therapy and everything, and then like I just jumped full-fledged like training mode. Like let's get back to training and everything. And then from there, I kind of overdid it and burnt myself out a little bit. So I got overstimulated with the dance situation and just constant rehearsals and constant like classes and training and stuff like that, to the point where it's just like, yo, I don't even want to fucking dance when I go out. I don't even want to move my body at all. And so I feel like right now I'm just allowing this team that I'm on right now, because it's a paid job or whatever, allowing that to fulfill my dance, part of my body or whatever, and then everything else is strictly be creative in any other way that you can. So no, I get that everybody goes through those phases with dance where it's like, I'm in it, I'm out of it, I'm in it, I'm out of it. You just kind of got to find like...
It's taxing on the body too. People forget that. That is taxing, bro. All the practices and the forms and the lines and like, it's tough, bro. It's no joke.
Yeah, it's like a physical and mental thing. Like it's a super physical thing, but then at the same time, it also like stretches you out on a mental level. And then you also got to be super mental when you dance too, because unlike you, like you said, you were kind of naturally talented with it. I wasn't the same way. So I sucked. I was really bad for a very, very long time. And the part that was really messing me up was mostly like, I'm tall. So like most of the dancers in Chicago are short.
Yeah.
Everybody's like 5'5" ish,
most
5'6".
dancers in general.
They're all just
I was
super,
a tall dancer,
super tiny.
And yeah. Do
you
you
were a tall
one thing
dancer?
I was a tall dancer, bro. Most dancers, like most of the good dancers, are like 5'5" and under, bro. But I was gonna say, bro, like something that I've realized is like, not to bring it back to content creation, but man, I think like the beautiful thing about the content creation thing is that, especially if you make your content, this is another reason why I don't think you should make your content about something specific like dance and should just make it about you, is your content is constantly, or your community is constantly growing. And if it's about you, then you have the freedom to change what you're posting about and what you're interested in. You could go through a chapter of your life where you're really into dancing and you could make a lot of dance videos. You could go through a chapter of your life where you're into like cinematography and you can make cinematic aesthetic videos. You can make talking videos. You could do a podcast. You could talk about finance. You could talk about anything you want, and it can mold and shift and grow with you. It's like a living organism. It's more about creating that platform. And so that's why I think content creation is cool, because you asked me earlier, will I ever be will I ever go back to dancing? If I want to, I can just post on my social. I can post dancing on my social, and that's incredible, And if I get burnt out, kind of like you are, that's okay. You still have the opportunity to do the other creative stuff on the same platform while keeping the snowball rolling. And that's amazing,
Yeah, facts. It's you kind of just gotta know where you're at and not force yourself into situations that you might not be ready for in the specific moment, and I know how I am with dance and everything, and I know how I've been with dance, so I know that I'm not done. I'm not gonna like just hang in the towel right now. I just know that I gotta give it a little bit of a break, rest a little bit, and then when I get re-inspired,
are you hard on yourself?
I want to say yes and no. I'm hard on myself in the aspect where like I want the best for myself, so I expect a lot out of me. I'm not hard on myself in the aspect of where like I'm very understanding of myself and my situation and the things that I've been through, and like it's like, yo, sometimes you ain't gonna always get it right. If you mess up in the performance, it's okay. I'm a human. I'm not a robot, but yeah, I do expect a lot from myself, because I just believe in like, you create your life. Whatever happens in your life, you have a lot of control over it. So if I don't become, a dancer that goes on tour or whatever, who can I really blame for that besides me? And so if I want my life to be a certain way, I'm kind of responsible for it, But it's more, healthier than that,
There's a balance between being ambitious and having high expectations, and then also loving yourself enough to say, hey, it's okay if you have a few bad days or some bad weeks or a bad year or a chapter. You know, you might have a bad chapter. You know, it's okay. It's okay for you to have bad times while also, you know, loving your. It's love on both sides, right? I love you enough to say it's okay if you have a bad day, but I also love myself to know that you're good enough to get what you want, and you can go get it. You know, and so it's finding that balance of like allowing yourself to be ambitious without allowing yourself to get, you know, way too hard on yourself and lose the self-love.
Facts. All right, give me 1 second. My computer is about to die, and I did not plug it in. So give me like 3.5 seconds. I'll be right back. Hey, talk a little bit. Give them a rap or something.
I'm not rapping, but I will say I'm seeing Drake this weekend. No, I'm seeing Drake on what am I seeing Drake? Monday? The whatever, 18th, something like that. I'm gonna try to make a video from it, but I'm mostly excited about this new album that he's got coming out. And my theory is that it's gonna be experimental, but a lot of people think it's gonna be like a graded, like a hits album. My thing is like he just made Her Lost, which was kind of like a hits thing. So I don't know what type of album this is gonna be. Maybe like a bunch of features, but we'll see. Anyways, I was talking about Drake album.
Yeah, that's crazy because I have a weird relationship with Drake. Would I pay money to go see that man? No, I would not. I just wouldn't do it. But his music is great.
Wow.
He's a great musician. I will vouch that he's probably one of the best rappers of our generation. He makes hits. Like he got bars. But I've seen the TikToks of his show and stuff like that, and I had a couple friends that went to his concert, and I just haven't heard like anybody say that he changed my life. Like he put on a show, or like I don't know, he just hasn't hit me that way where I would buy his. I know you have a different relationship with Drake. I know you love Drake. Goes.
Yeah, I'm a huge Drake fan. I'll let you know how Mike. I've never seen him in person. So I'll let you know how mine goes on Monday. But who do you listen to? Like, who is your favorite artist?
Ooh, favorite artist. Okay, so my favorite artist is I don't even want to say his name because I'm gonna bash him a little bit right now. I have a favorite artist, but his recent music has been going in a different direction. So I'm not even gonna say his name, but his recent like songs and stuff like that it's been a little different than his usual stuff. So it's been kind of like turning me away. He put out like 2 albums in like the last 2 years, and both of them have not been my favorite at all. But his prior music to all.
Is he from Chicago?
No, he's not from Chicago. He's from
okay.
He's from like LA or somewhere like that. But his most recent 2 albums haven't been like my taste, so I haven't really been feeling him. But I do really like John Bellion. I'm a big R&B guy, so I really like the Umis, the SZAs, the Summer Walkers, all those. But I kind of listen to everything. I listen to like every single genre. There's a piece of everything in my music, and I think you're kind of like that too.
Did you? So I'm big hip hop R&B. Like I don't really stray that much. I have my rock songs that I like, but that's pretty much it. I pretty much stay in R&B. I'm pretty deep R&B actually. Like if you look at my wall, it's like you know, Party Next Door, Brent Faiyaz, Drake, you know, Bryson Tiller.
Yeah, you got the blonde.
I like to experiment. Yeah, I got Frank Ocean too. But I like to experiment. Like I listen to K-pop and stuff, but mostly R&B, hip hop. I did listen to Tizo's album. I don't know.
My brother, that's
you don't listen to K-pop.
You said I keep it in the R&B and the hip hop. K-pop, that's over there. Like that's a whole different world. That's completely different. That's nowhere near that.
Hey, let me tell you this. K-pop is different, bro. K-pop is different. You got it. Do you watch anime?
I don't watch anime.
Okay, so if you have to have an appreciation for Japanese culture, or not Japanese, they're Korean, for Asian like culture going into it. But if you can get there, bro, like K-pop's good. Like that New Jeans, you probably don't know, but there's a New Jeans song that went viral on TikTok. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know who New Jeans is. She sounds great though. She sounds amazing. I would love to maybe one day indulge in New Jeans. But I did want to talk to you a little bit about living in Texas. You're in Houston, right? How is the culture out there, like being a young, like 20-something guy? Like, what's like the scene like out there? How is life out there growing up in that kind of area?
It's kind of been like it's been a perfect situation. I hated Houston for a long time because the city itself kind of sucks. Like it's not designed very well. You can
Really?
be you can be in a nice area and go around the corner, you're in a trap house all of a sudden. But
Damn.
I have all of my friends are here. All my friends are here. I have probably a group of 20 people that love me and that I love. So that's been a really good foundation. And then, it's the fourth biggest city in the country outside of New York, LA, San Francisco. And so, you have so many people, such a diverse group of people, that you can pretty much do anything that you could do in those other cities, for the most part, you can do in Houston. And so as like somebody who's interested in content and creativity and art, you have everything you need here, without having to worry about, New York, LA, San Francisco, and the stuff that comes with that. I think the only thing that I don't love, also I'm from Dallas, so I'm a Texan by heart. So the South is kind of my home, my bread and butter. So, it gives me more of like that Southern pride. The only critique I have of it is that it doesn't have a big like movie TV show industry. So if you want to do video games, movies, TV shows, there's nothing here for that. It's oil and gas. So that's one thing that I do wish they had, and the only thing that I think West Coast in New York has that Houston doesn't have.
Okay, so if you were to be like, or just hypothetically speaking, if you were like a young 21-year-old, would that be a good place to like move and like experience like life a little bit? I feel like Chicago is one of those places where a lot of people move here just to like be young and shit like that. And so like, the bar scene is really crazy. The club scene is really crazy. Like there's just a lot to do here. Is it similar there too?
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Like I live in an area called the Heights, and it's all a bunch of 20-somethings. You have UH, you have Rice University. You have plenty of young people, and then you also have, obviously, like, even if you're older, I know you didn't ask this, but even if you're older, you have the wealthy spots, the more like slower parts. So yeah, it's a good spot. It all depends on what you want, like if you're granola and you want to go hiking, you're probably not going to come to Houston, because we don't have anything. But for the most part, it's pretty good.
Fire. All right. Now also, like, tell me a little bit about this apartment you're living in, because I'm jealous. It looks fire. The aesthetic is there. Like, it looks like a really nice place. Tell me a little bit about like how you got there, how you picked it out. Like, what's that situation like?
You want a tour?
Low key, we want a tour. Let's see it.
You want a tour? All right, let me get it. All right, so starting off here, let me just set this up here. Starting off here, this is my room. So you got like the bed, obviously my album covers, everything like that. I already showed you the album covers. I have this nice big window in my room, so it's looking out at Houston skyline and everything.
Yo, that's crazy.
And then right out here is a Target. I don't know if you can see, but there's a Target out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like right next to a Target. Coming this way, so here's my wall. Turn on this way, you're gonna come into my kitchen. So it's kind of, it's outdated, but that's why I was able to get a cheaper price. It's a decent kitchen.
Outdated?
But the nice thing is when you come in, I would say this is outdated, brown and black.
Not, my brother, my apartment is outdated.
Also ignore the dishes.
You're living nice right now.
So if we come from, this is like my front door view. This is my living room here, another big window, which is really nice. And then like from the kitchen, you can see like both my room and the living room. It's kind of cool. So I've always liked that. Let me set this down. So you see how like my bedroom's here, and then my living room's over here. I always think that's really cool.
Is there no door
really like that
to the bedroom?
No door. So it was cheaper that way. I also think it's more aesthetic. The only problem is you don't have any privacy. Like if you have somebody stay over for whatever reason, you don't have any privacy in the morning. So that's been one thing that's been kind of tough to get around. But it is what it is.
No, that's
TV,
still fire though.
PlayStation 5 over there. Yeah. PlayStation 5 over there. I got my hold on, let me grab it real quick. I got my one plant, it's a Hoya. So this is my first plant, and she's doing good, keeping her alive.
Yeah, she's alive. She's not dead yet.
She's alive, bro. And then I got, I don't know if you can see, air purifier. So I'm really big about my like smells in my house. So I keep like air wicks and things everywhere I can. I guess I can go to my bathroom too. So bathrooms in here. Good thing I cleaned this morning. Bathrooms in here. It's not really anything crazy, but I do have something I'm really proud about. I should probably put this on TikTok and make commission off of this.
Yeah, you should.
This shower head right here. You know what I'm saying? Fly $50 on Amazon.
Really?
And it's the best shower I've ever had in my life. You just gotta, and it's easy to replace too. And you get the little shower head too on the right there. It's fly, bro. Wow. And that's pretty much it. It's all about making it look aesthetic, I guess.
Yo, that's dope. So like when it came to decorating,
mirror too. I take a lot of TikToks. This mirror.
Fire. So when it comes to decorating your apartment, like, were you always super into like decor in that situation, or like how did you decide what kind of vibe you wanted? Because I know that when I got my apartment, like my apartment is not really like a new apartment. It's kind of like outdated, like you were saying. But I had an idea, like I wanted to be very comfortable, minimal, and I wanted it to be like earth tones and stuff like that. So like, did you have an idea of like how you wanted your stuff to look?
So first off, the last apartment I stayed in was probably my favorite apartment. It was 15-foot windows, like exposed brick. It looked like a loft out of a rom-com. And my old roommate's mom was an interior designer. And so she designed our whole apartment for us. And I got to learn a lot through watching her. I've also always, just like I said, I have an artistic eye. I like aesthetic. And so when I moved here, I got to do it myself. And I already had a lot of this stuff. I already had the posters on the wall. I already had the bed. And so, you kind of just like piece it together. I think it's nice because it's not very big. I think the two important things are mirrors, plants, even if they're fake, right? Plants and wall art and natural light. Natural light's the biggest one. Everybody's like, oh, I'm going to go get an apartment and I want like, granite countertops and stainless steel appliances and all that stuff. I don't care about that. I just want big windows, because if I have big windows, that's going to make the whole apartment look 10 times better.
That's fire. Yeah. My biggest concern was the fact that it had a roof. Like that was the only thing that I was looking for. I didn't really have any like, yo, this is going to be, I need the windows. Cause I was just in a point where I just needed my own like place. So I really wasn't being too picky.
For sure.
But my next place, I do want it to be a little bit nicer. I do want to make content, at home and stuff like that. So like, just the way that it looks will matter to me a little bit more. But the last thing I kind of want to like,
natural lighting is the most important thing.
Yeah, but the last thing I want to kind of talk to you about is fashion. So I don't know if you feel this way, but like, you be dressing, like you be putting that shit on. So like,
I cannot believe you're saying that. I never saw myself that way.
You literally made me go dust off the blazers. Like I had to go dust them off and put them on one time. Like I had to. I had to. They're fire. They're fire. I forgot that I even had them, and I was like, "Yo, let me go put these bitches on real quick." So, like, when it comes to clothes and stuff like that, like, I know you wear like you crop your shirts a lot and stuff like that. Like, how do you find confidence with that? And then, like, where also like are you at when it comes to like clothes? How does it like? What is it? Does it make you feel different? Does it like help you express yourself? What is that?
I still can't even believe I'm like being treated like a fashion person, because I never saw myself that way. But I did. There was a moment where I got into fashion last year, around the same time I started creating content. It was around the same time I was trying to explore myself, and I started trying a bunch of different things. I did a lot of earth tones last year because that was really popping. Like the fleece jackets. You remember the fleece jackets and the cargos and the beanies. Like you remember last year's fall fashion. I experimented a lot. I saw this one video from this content creator that was talking about how you can get sucked into trends. And the best fashion advice is to find a North Star and figure out what sort of aesthetic you want to go for, and then just find clothes that fit within that aesthetic. And you can use the trends to influence that, but you're nowhere without a North Star. And that's kind of where I was last year, like around fall, where I was just wearing a bunch of random stuff and none of it really played together. It all looked cool individually, but none of it played together. And so I found my aesthetic. I kind of see myself as like, I always say like 90s heartthrob out of like a black movie, like Love and Basketball or something. Like 90s heartthrob is kind of what I'm going for. And so, or like Fresh Prince. I like Fresh Prince a lot too, even though he's a little bit more eccentric.
Yeah, I see it.
But that was kind of like my North Star. And so then I started finding stuff that fits within that aesthetic, and that's when my fashion really started to take off. I started finding accessories. Like I love my fanny pack, I love my ring, my bracelets, my necklaces. And when you're not looking to follow trends and you're just looking for aesthetic, you're able to go to vintage stores and buy clothes that fit that instead of just buying the newest trendy jacket. You know what I'm saying? And so I was able to buy more things and experiment more, and slowly but surely, I guess I'm putting it together, slowly.
Do you spend a lot of money on clothes, or are you like a thrifter, or are you like just getting whatever is affordable and stuff like that? Because sometimes the best clothes don't be the most expensive ones. You can find some gems that are kind of cheaper.
Yeah. I've become a big thrifter. So when I first started, it was a lot of Abercrombie, it was a lot of Zara. I still go to those places for sure, but I don't really buy anything when I go there anymore because I can find what I need at a vintage store, and now I've kind of gotten to a point where I have enough stuff in my closet where I don't really need anything new. So I only buy stuff if I'm like, oh, that item is sick. Cause I got my basics, right? I got the shirts, I got the pants, I got the whatever, hoodies. So now I only buy stuff if I feel like it's a unique item and I need it. And, I think I will still go to Zara and Abercrombie for like date night outfits. So like some trousers, maybe like a knitted collared shirt, something like that. Like I'll buy that stuff from those nice places. And then I spend good money on, weirdly enough, loungewear. So like sweats, you know what I mean? Like sweats and things like that. I'll spend money on those because I feel like cheap loungewear doesn't look good. But other than that, for what I wear on a day-to-day basis, it's mostly just like vintage stuff.
Bet. And like, talk to me a little about like the crop situation when you're cropping your shirts and stuff like that, because I feel like that's a new thing, and not a lot of guys are doing that, and not a lot of guys have the confidence to do that as well. So talk to me a little bit about like where that came from.
I mean, it's all about proportions. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about making sure something looks good on you, not just that it looks good. So a lot of my shirts, so I have, with my shirts, I have two ways where I like them to fit. I like the sleeves to come down to my elbows to look like oversized, or I like to roll them up to where they're a little bit tighter up here and I look more like an 80s like baseball player or something like that, or like Sandlot. So a lot of the shirts where I can get the sleeves that come down to here are way too long on me. And so if you crop it to where and I'm not showing my belly button, like I do have some shirts that are like shorter, but if you crop it to where it's like just right past your hip, it makes the proportions look a lot better. And like it ends up looking better on your body relative to something that's way too long. And so I don't even know if it's a situation of like, oh, I just like crop because it's trendy. I think I just like crop because it works better with my body. You know what I'm saying? And I can buy more clothes. I can go to a vintage store and get a large that fits me better up here and then make it fit on the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah, I'm really big into my like oversized stuff right now, just because I'm such a large guy.
Me too.
Like I'm 6'2", I'm like 230 pounds. So like the tight clothes,
yeah,
they don't look that great on me. But bigger clothes make me look less tall, and I like that. I don't like to look like the tallest person in the room. So when I buy bigger clothes,
right,
it makes me feel a little bit more proportioned. So I get that with like the cropping situation. Will I ever crop a shirt? We'll see.
I don't know if you need to. Like again, it comes back to body. it comes back to body, right? Like cropping a shirt makes my legs look longer. So as a short person, it makes me look taller. So it's all about making your body look better. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's all about that.
Okay, that makes sense. Because you want long, and I want shorter legs. I want to be a little bit shorter, so that does make a little bit of sense. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. So before we go, I got like 3 rapid fire questions for you. You know, I just want to see.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short.
What your answers are for these. You could make them a little longer if you need to, but you know, there's some rapid fire questions. All right. So the first one, who is your dream collab and what does that look like?
Ron Doug. Oh my, that's an easy question. So Ron Doug for sure as far as content creation. And what does it look like? I think it looks like an aesthetic. I think it looks like a trip somewhere and doing an aesthetic montage to a song. I would think that we would make multiple of them. So you would do some almost like a music video vibe to a song, probably a Drake song, of us traveling somewhere with cool aesthetics and cool videos and things like, or so cool, you've thought about cool this views, before. Things like that. I haven't. I just am such a big fan of Ron Doug, and he inspires pretty much everything that I make, and so of course I would love to work with him. He's the king, if you ask me.
Bet, understood. All right, the next one is, if you could be any fictional character, who would you be?
Any fictional character?
Yeah. Oh,
man, I don't know. I would probably say, I've always had a dream, this is a stupid answer, but I've always had a dream to be the Great Gatsby and live different. in that world for just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? That aesthetic always stuck with me for some reason, and I know it kind of goes bad in the end, but like that would be cool for a minute.
Bet, yeah. Mine probably would have been Spider-Man or somebody like that, but Great Gatsby, that's definitely a good one.
Yeah.
What is your go-to song that puts you in your feels? Like if you want to feel something.
Let me go to my Drake catalog real quick.
Of course.
I'd probably say right now it's been Not You Too by Drake. And that's it's not, I don't know if that's like his best heartbreak song, but it's just been something. Oh no, Jaded too. So I'm gonna pick either Jaded or Not You Too by Drake, because those songs for whatever reason like hit. I think I went through a situation that was exactly like the lyrics, so it just hits me every single time.
Most definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Eli, for joining me on the pod. Before we go, do you have anything that you'd like to plug? Any projects or like any social media that you'd like to, share with the audience?
Yeah. So on TikTok, The Life of Eli, that's kind of my main social media. The Life of Eli with 3 I's. And then on Instagram, it's at Elijah Upchurch. So that's ELIJAH, last name Upchurch, just like it sounds, UPCHURCH. And I have a link in both of those where you can go find my other socials. You can find my TikTok on my Instagram. You can find my Instagram on my TikTok. And then finally, I have a Spotify playlist that is like my pride and joy. So you can use that same link to go find my Spotify playlist, and would love to hear feedback on that because I'm a big music guy and I love getting feedback.
I do listen to that playlist. I do. I pop it on sometimes when I get in the car. I do. It got some hits on it. It got some.
Hey,
it's a vibe. I do be listening to it. I'm like, yo, let me just go ahead and put it on shuffle. So I do listen to playlists.
It's a lot of dark R&B. So if you're into dark R&B, the Brent Faiyaz, the Party Next Doors, it's a lot of that. So
yeah, definitely go listen to that. It's a fire playlist. And I think that's all we got. So I want to thank you all for listening to the podcast. Cool. Be sure to go follow Eli on all his social medias, and return next week for an all new episode with another guest. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you next time.